Hi friends, welcome to the channel Unshackling Sudoku and Puzzles. Myself Ashish, and today I'll be covering a puzzle genre called Philomeno variant. Actually it's a Philomeno variant, a cipher Philomeno, right? So the constructor of this puzzle is Tim Marsden, and this puzzle was featured on gmpuzzles.com. So as I usually say, GM Puzzle is one of the best site to look out for some very good quality Sudoku and puzzles. And you should, I would really recommend you to check out the website if you really want some very good quality Sudoku and puzzles, and with amazing teams and excellent solve paths, right? So do check out the GM Puzzles website. I will add the link in the description below for the online interface of the puzzle that we are solving today, as well as the link of the puzzle that we have taken today, the page from where we have taken the puzzle, right? So according to the rules of the normal Philomeno rules, according to the rules we have to draw some regions. So we have to mark some regions in such a way that the number of these cells in the region is same as the numbers in the region. So you have a 5 cell region with 5 in it, or a 4 cell region with 4 in it, 1 cell region with a 1 in it, and no two regions of same number can touch each other. So you have a 4 region, I would say this is a 4 cell region, then you cannot have another 4 cell region touching this 4 cell region. It is not possible, right? And you might have some regions. So usually in a Philomeno you have numbers given in the grid, right? Any numbers 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, anything, and with the numbers we have to form the region. So if it is a 12, then we need to form a 12 cell region, right? That is what the Philomeno rule says. And with that, in a Philomeno you might have regions where there are no given numbers in the grid. So you might have a 5 cell region where there was no 5 in the grid already given. So you might have some new regions that are formed in a Philomeno, right? That is also possible in a Philomeno. So what is a cipher Philomeno? In this you don't have numbers given. So instead of numbers there are some letters given in the grid, and for each letter represents a different number of positive integer, right? So you won't have fractions here, which means a B can be anything, 1 2 3 4 till anything, right? So there are 10 different alphabets here if you see in the first row, right? So all the different alphabets represents a different number, and it is upon the solver that we have to find what alphabet or what letter represents what number. So that is what a cipher Philomeno is, and with that we'll start solving this puzzle. So it is really difficult to solve a cipher Philomeno, but because we don't even know that what number it is. So for example, if we had a 3 here, we could have extended this C as 3 cells up, or anything like 3 cells over here or here, but we are not even sure what a C is. A C can be 1 2 3 4, anything, we are not sure about it. So in these cases, in such puzzles, you'll always have to look for alphabets which are two same alphabets which are already touching each other. So for example, if you have a 2 T's touching here, or maybe 2 T's touching here, which means T has to be minimum 2, because already the 2 T's are touching. So we can extend a T here, indicating that T has minimum of 2 cells, or maybe a value greater than 2 or greater than 2. That is the first thing that you usually see in a cipher Philomeno. The second thing is that you always look out for the starting, or maybe a number 1. What alphabet or what letter can be taken by number 1? Sometimes what happens is you are not sure if the number 1 is already used in the puzzle. So so there are some 10 letters here, right? We are not even sure if the number 1 is used. It can start from number 2 to 12 or 11. So we are not even sure of it. But in some cases you will find such kind of logics. So if you see here, if the B is 1, if this B is 1, you won't extend the B, right? So there will be some other thing here. For example, if the B is 1, then all the other numbers will have to be 2, right? They will extend. If at all B is not 1, let us assume if at all B is not 1, it is greater than 1, right? Which means that B has to extend outside, and that another B is touching here, which means that B cannot be 2, it will be either 1 or greater than 2, which is 3. So if you extend this B as 3, the I becomes 1, right? So if you see here, what happens, what scenario you are seeing here is, if B is 1, you already got a 1, that means you have assumed B as being a 1, and you can mark that no other alphabet can be 1. But what happens if B is not 1? The moment you assume that B is not a 1, I becomes a 1, because B becomes 3 now, greater than 3 or greater than 3, because it cannot be 2. When the moment you extend the B towards the outside of this cell, it becomes 3 or more, and the moment we mark the B as 3 here or more, I becomes 1, right? So in such cases, you already know that either of B or I will have to be 1. You cannot ignore that, right? Which means that all the other alphabets will be either 2 or greater than 2. So you don't, it is not possible for two different alphabets to have same value. So according to the Cipher-Filomeno rule, every alphabet indicates a different positive integer. So when you have A as 2, you cannot have D as 2 as well. D has to be something other than 2, because you already taken a 2 as A, right? So in this case, we have already marked either B or I being a 1, right? So we can extend all the other alphabets for being 2 or greater than 2, right? So you have to usually look for such such logics, because Cipher-Filomeno usually is a difficult difficult genre, so a variant of Filomeno. So you have to look out for such logics, as I have already said you. If B is 1, then you can assume and solve the puzzle as B is already taken 1. But if B is not 1 and it is something greater than 1, the moment you extend that B, I becomes a 1, right? So such kind of logics are most important thing. Now let's see if we can continue the puzzle more. This puzzle has one of the best ever logics I have seen in a Filomeno puzzle. One excellent logic, and you will be able to finish that puzzle easily. So what is that logic? I really enjoyed seeing this logic here. It has a different kind of logic, a very different feel to the puzzle, right? And let me explain you the logic. Before explaining the logic, you will have to see that the number of cells in the grid. So usually in a Filomeno puzzle, what happens is, sometimes you will have maximum count of logic. So what does a maximum count of logic mean? So this is a 10 by 10 grid, right? You know, this is a 10 by 10 grid, which means it has 100 cells. Sometimes when you, in a Filomeno, in a normal Filomeno, you will have the numbers in such a way that when you take the minimum value of all the numbers, for example, let us assume that D and D will connect. So if you don't connect these two D's, if D is 3, for example, if D is 4, and if you don't connect these two D's, you will have 8 cells used by these two D's, right? 2D. And what happens if you connect both the D's? You will have exactly 4 cells connected by the D, or used by the D. So you will have to use the minimum number of cells used by the number. So what happens in a Filomeno puzzle is, according to the maximum count of logic, if you use the minimum number of cells used by each number, so if you have two same numbers, if you try to connect them, and still you are able to solve the puzzle logically, which means that sometimes you will have exactly 100 cells used by the numbers, and you will have exactly 100 cells in the grid. So which means that all the same numbers will be touching each other. So that is called the maximum count of logic. The same kind of logic is used here. So the best thing here in this puzzle is maximum count of logic, and I will say you how it is done. So if you see here, there are exactly 10 different letters used in the grid, not more than 10 or less than 10. So B, I, A, R, D, N, S, T, C, U, right? So S is here, N is here, B is here, R is also here, C, N, S, D, S and B. So all these alphabets are already used in the above row, and same alphabets are used in the below row. There are exactly 10 different alphabets in the last row. So if you see B, I, A, R, D, N, S, T, U and C, right? Exactly 10 different alphabets in the above row and the below row. Now if you see, let us take the above row. if we assume that all the alphabet starts with the 1, the minimum value, right, we are taking the minimum possible value. The alphabets, the numbers of the alphabet starts with 1 and ends with 10, right? So all the values from 1 to 10 will be taken by this 10 alphabets. That means 1 plus 2 plus 3 till 10 would be 55, right? That is the minimum value you can get. You can't get anything less than 55 with the 10 alphabets. So when you have a 10 alphabets and each alphabet representing one different value, positive integer, then the minimum number of cells used by these 10 alphabets would be 55, not less than 55. You cannot possibly use less than 55 cells for a 10 different alphabets, right? Because 1 plus 2 plus 3 till 10 would be 55, and the minimum value we are starting is with 1. Now what happens is, if you see the below arrow, I mean to say below row, you still have 10 different alphabets, same alphabets that are on the top row, right? So that will also take 1 to 55, 1 to 10, which sums to 55, which becomes 110. So the above row and the below row, if all the alphabets are not touching each other, so the above row alphabets and the below row alphabets are not touching each other, then the maximum, the minimum value that you get would be 110, which is of course not possible because you have only 100 cells in the grid. And if you see, let us assume anything that D is 9 here, right? Or maybe R is 9, right? Let us assume R is 9. Can R at the top row touch the bottom row R only using 9 cells? It is not possible, of course, because the difference between those two cells is used by 10 cells, including those two cells, right? The minimum difference between those two cells would require 10 cells, right? The minimum path from this cell to this cell would require 10 cells, which means that all the 1 to 9 alphabets here and here won't be touching each other. It is not even possible, right? A one value cell, of course we cannot extend here. A 2 value cell will extend only till 2 cells. A 3 value cell will extend only till 3 cells, and a 9 value cell will extend only till 9 cells, right? Let us assume this is the 9 cells. It cannot extend till the 10th cell, because then you'll have 10 cells in it and the value is only 9, which means that 1 plus 9 over the top row plus 1 plus 9 at the bottom row gives you 45 plus 45, which is 90. And there will be one alphabet which will take the value of 10, which has to connect to the bottom row. So the same letter from the top row to the bottom row has to be connected, which will give you exactly 100 cells used. And the alphabets in the middle will be taken by those cells. So these are not the extra cells, these are not the extra numbers that you will have different region, but this alphabets will somehow connect to the bottom row or to the top row and finish the puzzle. What a tremendous, what an excellent logic this is. This is one of the best logic that I have seen in a cipher philomeno. I have solved quite a few cipher philomenos, and I would say that this is the best ever logic I have ever seen. Now if you see, can you see, okay, if at all you have a T here, I'll say some other logic here. Let us assume you have a C here and you have a C here, not exactly below it, just one cell away from it, right? A C here and a C here. Connecting both the C's will of course give you more than 10 cells, because if you need to connect with the 10 cells, you will need to have exactly below it, right? And the only alphabet that is exactly below the top row, the same place, so B is not exactly below the B, B is not exactly below the other B, this S is not exactly below the other S, this N is not exactly below the other N. There is only one such alphabet that is exactly below the other row, below it, extremely sorry here. Okay, so the only alphabet that is exactly below the same alphabet is R, which means that R has to be 10 cells, and we have got our first region that is of 10 cells, right? So we can mark that here, right? This is R is of 10 cells here. What an excellent piece of logic this is. And if you see, there will be exactly two regions of each other number. So 1 will have two regions, 2 will have two regions, 3 will have two regions, two different regions, because of two different possibilities of alphabet in the top row and bottom row, which means that you already have one B here and the other B here, which means that both of these B's will be touching each other. So which means that B is minimum of 6. Minimum, we are not sure because it can be more than 6 also. So B is minimum of 6. So let us assume B is at least extend this B to 6, right? So we got 1 as I. So 1 is already done. 2 is already done with the A. So A is 2, right? So we can mark that here. I is 1 and A is 2. Superb logic, guys. Superb. Excellent. So we have already got our 2. We can extend the alphabets more because 2 is already done. So all the other alphabets will be 3 or greater than 3, which means that D is 4 now. At least 4. So we can extend our D with 4, right? D is at least 4 now. Now if you see, the U is 3. So U cannot be extended more, which means that U will have to be 3, and we can close the U with being only of 3 cells, right? So we got our 3 also. This is 2. Now which means that all the other alphabets can be extended for being at least 4, because 3 is done now, right? So let's see. So N becomes 5 now. Minimum of 5, at least 5. So we can extend this N till at least 5, and B can be extended till 6, right? So 1 2 3 4 5 6 can be either this way or this way, because we know at least B will take 6 alphabets, 6 cells. So S can be extended now, and we know that this S will have to be connected to this S, right? Somehow, and this S will also have to be connected to this S. Excellent. So if you see here, this S is forming one region and this S will form another region. So you won't have any region, any number other than two regions of the same number, right? So you will have one with only two regions, 1 and 2 here. Two number region will have only twice. 3 number region will have only twice. 4 number region will have only twice. So because of the top and bottom row, as I have explained the logic, which means that the minimum number of cells connecting these 3 S is 9, right? You cannot go 10 because 10 is already done by R, which means that S is of course 9. There cannot be any other way, and we can connect the S here, which is 9. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Superb. So S is 9 now, which means T is 4. So D is not 4, T is 4 now. So we can mark we can mark that T is 4 now. So all the other numbers can be extended for the fifth alphabets. D is 5. So T is 4, which means D is 5, because D cannot be extended. D cannot be 4 and it cannot be extended further, which means that N has to be extended, right? N cannot be 5, N has to be extended, and N connects here. So N is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So N is 8. We can extend this. We can extend the C as well, and this cell will have to be taken by one of the given regions, which can only be C. So N is we have done 7 here. N will be 8. N is 8, right? Let us see if we get anything else. So B is 6. B cannot be extended more, which means that we can close the B with the 6 number. So we have got our 1 2 3 4. 4 is already done, right? Yeah, 4. 5 is D, right? And 6 is B. What is 7? N is 8. S is 9, which means 7 has to be C. There is no other go. 7 has to be C, and N is 8 and D is 5. Superb. So 4 is done, 7 is C. And with that we complete our today's puzzle, that is Cypher Philomeno. What a great piece of logic, guys. I really recommend solving this puzzle again. This is such a fun puzzle. What a delightful idea this is. What a break in, what a start logic. I'm really satisfied solving this puzzle. I would really suggest you to check out the gmpuzzles.com. It has some amazing puzzles, and I really enjoyed this puzzle. What a different kind of logic this puzzle had. Using the maximum count of logic from both the rows with the minimum numbers will exactly give you 100 cells, and which means that all the alphabets in the middle will have to be touching either the top row or the bottom row, right? What a great piece of logic. I really have no words to express the feeling that I am having now after solving this puzzle. So I would really suggest you to check out the GM Puzzles website. I hope you enjoyed this video, and particularly this video was one of our viewers request on solving this puzzle in a video. So we are really thankful of solving this puzzle. It was a great puzzle. So do like and comment if you want us to solve any other Sudoku variant or a puzzle genre, and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you.